Good morning, Terry. How are we doing today?
Good.
All right, my name is Elise. I work here at the clinic, and I was looking over your chart while you were here, and I saw that you've been having some troubles with your asthma lately. And I was wondering if I could come in here, ask you a few questions, and just talk to you a little bit about it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, awesome. So I want to start off with, can you tell me about your typical day?
Yeah, so I wake up and I have my morning cigarette, and then I'll take a shower, go to the support group, and around 5 is when I head over to my brother's and hang out with him and his niece, and we have dinner. And then after that, usually I'll go hang out with my friends, and then I'll have my evening cigarette, go home, watch my favorite shows, go to bed. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hi, wow, you sound like you have a lot going on. So can you tell me a little bit about the support group that you were talking about earlier?
Yeah, so my doctor assigned me a support group because I struggle with depression. I didn't think it was going to help, but it actually does because we do this thing called positive imagery, and that helps a lot, and it's just good to be around people that struggle with the same thing that I do.
Yeah, right, of course. That is so great that you continue to improve and try new things and really lean on your peers. I think that's phenomenal. So you said previous to that you like to hang out with your friends sometimes after a support group. Can you tell me what you guys usually do?
Sometimes we'll go to lunch. We'll go out at night at times, and we'll go to a pub. But when I go to the pub, it's really hard to breathe just because of all the smoke that's in there. So it triggers my asthma.
Okay, so you're saying that when your friends go to the pub, your asthma gets a lot worse? Okay. Okay, well, if it's okay with you now, I want to ask you a few questions a little bit more about your smoking and cigarette habits.
Why? I don't really see it as a problem, and all my family does it.
Well, I ask all my patients these questions, and also it seems from what you've told me that smoking takes a prominence in your life, and so does asthma. So I think the two might be related. So I kind of want to just ask some questions, see if we can figure out, maybe try to help you a little bit, if that's okay.
I mean, I don't really see why, but go ahead.
All right, well, I gave you some questions. So you told us a little bit earlier about your typical day. Can you maybe tell me how smoking or cigarettes fit into that day?
Well, I told you guys that I wake up and I have my morning cigarette.
Right.
Normally, if I'm driving, then I'll have one in the car, and my friends smoke too, so usually anytime we're together, we socially smoke. If I have a stressful day, maybe after a group, then I'll have one then, and then when I'm going to bed, it helps me sleep, so I'll have one right before bed.
Okay. So, on average, how many cigarettes do you think you have in a day?
I would say probably 2 packs a day. My dad was a smoker as well, and when I was 14 years old, he used to sneak me cigarettes, so I've been smoking since I was 14. But if it's on a day that I go hang out with my niece, I usually skip my afternoon smoke. That's really hard, but it's worth it being with her.
Right, okay. So, let me make sure I understand you. You've been smoking since around 14, pretty regularly. And it sounds like you really enjoy it, and you really enjoy social time with your friends, you really value their relationships, but you also really value your relationship with your niece.
Yeah, that's right.
Alright, so I see that you value your time with your niece. Can you tell me why you skip your afternoon cigarette when you have to go see her?
So my dad was an avid smoker, and at 66 he died of lung cancer. And ever since that, my brother's just been really strict on having cigarettes around his daughter. So he doesn't like the secondhand smoke. He doesn't like smelling it on me. So yeah, so I try to keep it away from him and his niece. Okay.
So it must be really hard for you to give up cigarettes, even for those few hours that are before you go and see her at his house. Sounds like you really care about your relationship with her.
Yeah, it's really difficult to give up those cigarettes, but it's worth it.
Good. So, besides being able to see your niece more, what are some other things you love? Some other things that you like about smoking?
Well, I love the taste. My friends and I always smoke together, so it's fun just to go out with them and do that together. And it just always relaxes me. If I have my cigarette, then I can sleep better.
Right. So I can see why all of those would be beneficial. Can you tell me some negatives about you smoking?
Yeah, I can't see my niece as much. And also, I saw the effects on my dad with him getting cancer. It was really hard on my family and my mom. And my mom. And I just know that if I quit smoking, that it would make them really happy.
All right. So you pointed out some good benefits, and you recognize some impactful negatives of smoking. So that's really great that you can recognize both. So I'm going to give you, or I already gave you, a readiness ruler.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a tool that we use to say how ready you are to make a plan, start implementing it, and do the steps to quit smoking. So it's 1 through 10, 1 being you're not ready at all, not even thinking about it, and 10 meaning you are giving it up.
I would probably say I'm at a 4.
Okay, so you circled a 4. That's great. Why not a 3?
Well, I find myself thinking about quitting so I can see my niece more, but I haven't really planned on it, and I haven't really thought what that would look like. I'm just really scared that if I give it up, that it's going to trigger my depression.
Okay, so you've vocalized how highly you think of your relationship with your niece, but you continue to not make a plan to stop smoking because the fear that it'll re-trigger your depression?
Yeah, I mean, I've never thought about it like that, but I guess so.
Okay, so we've talked about how much you value your family and your health ever since you saw your dad's, and you recognize that smoking kind of hinders your priorities of life. And I know you haven't really developed a plan yet. I know you've thought about it, but I was wondering if you would maybe be interested in brainstorming a few goals, short-term goals that we could make together to maybe help you cut back on smoking or eventually stop.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Okay, so what are some things that maybe encourage your smoking habits?
I'd say the main thing is being with my friends, especially at the pub. Also, the stress of relapsing into my depression.
Okay, so I think those are really, really good triggers that you've identified. Can you think of some strategies to maybe avoid those smoking triggers or things that enhance your want to smoke?
Probably not going to the pub with my friends. Maybe just hanging out more with my support group. That helps me with my depression. If I stop smoking so much, I can hang with my family more, with my niece and my brother.
Right.
Also, my depression starts to increase. Because of quitting, then I guess I can just go back to my group more and talk to them.
Yeah, they seem like a great group of people, very supportive. And those all seem great. You've done a really good job of coming up with some very realistic goals for yourself. So, are you ready? I'm going to have you do the readiness ruler again. And since we've talked about a couple of realistic goals, and see how ready you are to stop smoking now that we've thought of a few.
I'm probably going to say I'm at a 6 now.
Okay, that's great. Why did you not pick the 4 again?
Well, by making these goals, I feel like it's more achievable to quit smoking. Now, also, I'm realizing more after talking to you the benefits I would have of quitting.
Well, that's really good. I'm glad that I could help a little bit. I think that it's a really good idea to write down your goals so that way you always have them and you're always reminded. I would also like to see you back here in a month, maybe just to go over your goals, see where you're at, maybe make some more, see your progression, and if I can help in any way before that, I would love that as well. Would you be interested in having a follow-up visit?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.